Some people don't just want to be loved. They need to feel that it hasn't changed, not once. Not just at the start, all the time. You can show up. You can stay. You can say all the right things, and still, something in them keeps checking. Not loud, not dramatic. You probably wouldn't even notice it. It just runs quietly in the background, all the time. They notice small things, not big signs, not anything obvious, just small shifts. A message that feels a little shorter, a reply that takes a bit longer, a tone that's slightly off. Nothing they can prove, but they feel it anyway. And once that feeling shows up, it doesn't just disappear, it stays. And the strange part is, it's never really about the message itself. It's about what it used to feel like. They remember that. The warmth, the ease, the way it didn't make them think this much. So when something changes, even a little, they notice, even if no one else would. So they start looking for something to hold on to. Not big gestures, just small things. The way someone says goodnight, the way they check in first, the way they remember something small, something that quietly says, "We're still okay." Because when those small things aren't there, love starts to feel unstable, even when nothing is actually wrong. And that's the part that's hard to explain. Nothing happened. No argument. No distance. No clear reason. But it still doesn't feel safe. And feeling unsafe when you can't explain why, that's a lonely place to be. Because you can't point to anything. You can't justify it. You just carry it. From the outside, it looks like overthinking, like insecurity, like needing too much. And yeah, people say that. You're overreacting. Nothing's wrong. Why can't you just trust it? But from the inside, it doesn't feel like too much. It feels like trying to hold on to something that might slip at any moment. They don't just live in the present. They carry a feeling with them. Not always a clear memory, just something familiar. A sense of what it was like when love wasn't steady, when silence meant something, when distance showed up without warning, when reaching out didn't always get a response. It usually didn't start with something big, no single moment, just inconsistency. Love that felt warm one day and distant the next. Attention that came and went without explanation. No pattern, no warning. So they learned to watch, because watching felt safer than not knowing. If they could catch the shift early, maybe they could fix it. Be better. Be quieter. Be easier to stay with. Maybe they could stop it before it turned into distance. That habit never really left. It just followed them. Into everything. So when love has been inconsistent, you don't stop wanting it. You start watching it. Closely. Every small change means something. Every silence becomes a question. Every shift in tone feels like it matters. Not because they wanted to, but because it used to. Even now, even when things are actually good, part of them stays alert. Not expecting the worst, just prepared for it. Because they've felt things change before. Quietly. Without warning. Most of the time, they know they're overreading it. They know a short text isn't a signal. They know a quiet day doesn't mean anything is ending. They know all of that. They still can't stop. And this is where it starts to hurt. The more they need reassurance, the harder it becomes to ask for it. Because asking feels risky. What if it sounds like too much? What if it pushes the other person away? What if the answer isn't what they want? So instead, they go quiet. Pull back a little. Not completely. Just enough. And then they wait. They wait to see if love shows up on its own. If the other person notices. If something happens that makes the feeling settle, without them having to say anything. But sometimes, the other person feels that distance. They sense something changed. They don't know what. They just feel it. So they pull back too. Not because they stopped caring, but because they're unsure. And now there's space, not created on purpose, just formed, between fear on one side and confusion on the other. Which is exactly what was feared. It's not a game. It's not manipulation. It's just a loop, a quiet, exhausting one, that no one planned to be in. And the hard part is, both people can care, both people can try, and it still happens. Because it was never just about this relationship. It's something older than that. Something that learned, a long time ago, that love can change, that it needs to be watched, that it can disappear without warning. The hardest part? They rarely say any of this out loud. They don't ask, "Do you still love me?" They don't say, "I just need to know we're okay." They just wait, quietly, hoping it shows up on its own. Because asking directly feels like risking everything, and they're not sure they can handle the answer. So instead, they read between the lines. They look for reassurance in things that were never meant to carry that weight. A message length, a response time, who texted first, small things, doing a very big job. And they know it. They know it doesn't make sense. They still feel it anyway. Because the feeling isn't coming from logic. It's coming from something older, something that learned that love can be here today and feel different tomorrow. And sometimes, by the time you notice that shift, it's already happened. Over time, love starts to feel strange. You're cared for, you're not alone, you're together. But something in you still isn't settled. Not because the love isn't real, not because the other person isn't trying, but because a part of you never really learned how to rest inside it, how to feel it without checking if it's still there. Closeness exists, but it never fully lands. And for some people, this isn't random. It's not a flaw. It's not weakness. It's a pattern. One that formed for a reason. One that made sense at the time. And because it made sense, it can also be understood. If any of this feels familiar, the watching, the waiting, the never quite feeling sure, even when everything looks fine, then there's something important to know. This pattern has a name. And understanding it, where it comes from, why it feels this way, that's where things start to shift. Not instantly, not all at once, but slowly, when you stop seeing it as something broken and start seeing it as something that can be understood. That's what comes next.